Stokely Hathaway was on the Sessions podcast with Renee Paquette this week. This was a really fascinating, revealing interview. We got to see a very unique side of Stokely. I haven't had the chance to get to know Stokely all that well yet, Very impressed with his work on screen. Don't know a lot about the guy off screen, so we got to hear a little bit more in this podcast here. And a lot of this podcast was about mental health. Stokely Hathaway, very outspoken about recent mental health issues, maybe a couple years ago, I suppose. But these are things that I did not know about him. I knew he had left WWE. I didn't know the reason. I guess maybe I had heard there was some mental health going there, but apparently he checked himself into a mental health facility, as a matter of fact. And this was the bulk of this conversation with Renee. Go ahead and check out a clip of this here.
Prior to signing to AEW, you were working at WWE with NXT, had a great thing going there. Yeah. And we don't really have to get into too many of the specifics. I mean, I think we kind of know what happened there and saw some of the things that happened there. But I think the thing that really sticks out to me was you being offered a contract extension, and then that just wasn't the thing that you wanted to do. What was kind of going on at that time?
I mean, to be completely honest, in February, I woke up one day and I just felt miserable. I just felt, I guess the right way would be crazy, right? Yeah. I couldn't, I didn't know where I was. I didn't know what was going on. And it kind of went away, and then it kept increasing to the point to where it was just debilitating. So, I voluntarily just committed myself. This was on a Friday, and I think I got out on Sunday. And it was a very interesting experience, mainly because I would say in Florida, it's prison for the mentally ill. So when I went in, I had no idea what I was in for. I never want to go through this again. That was it.
So what kind of goes into making sure that you don't get back?
I think, for me, there is a lot of pressure. I think there's always a lot of pressure, because I feel like as a Black talent, I get judged more harshly than other people. I feel like everything I do is overanalyzed, right? And I don't, obviously everyone gets a critique, but I feel like mine is at a different level. Sure. And I'm also incredibly hard on myself. So it was one of those things where I'm hard on myself. I give myself notes all the time. And I think it was just, I had to realize that it's wrestling. It's just wrestling. Mm-hmm. This isn't a live or die situation. Yeah.
First of all, props to Stokely for opening up about this stuff. I feel like this is something that we're starting to get more comfortable with as a society, or that's becoming more common, is addressing mental health. And I think that's super important, right? Because I'm old enough to have come from the generation still where you bury that shit, right? You just stuff it down deep inside. You don't talk about all your feelies and stuff because it just makes you a pussy, right? But thankfully that mindset has changed, and that people are, and I know a lot of you still are going to think that way, suck it up. But that's a product of the way you were raised in the environment and all of that. You know what I mean? Generations before us were very much like that, but that's starting to change. And that's going to eventually trickle down to the future generations, where people are going to be a lot more open about this. Some could argue that people, that it's over, people complain about everything, the oversensitivity of everybody. Everybody's offended by everything. And I think that is one of the negative byproducts of this. But I think overall it's healthy that people feel comfortable opening up and talking about mental health issues, because a lot of us have them. Probably all of us at some point in time have gone through something that could resemble mental health issues. Look, I deal with depression a lot, deep depression, you know what I mean? So I go through it, and it's hard, and it's not something that's easy to talk about. And you don't want to burden people, you don't want to sound like the negative Nancy. And this was something that really resonated with me, because Stokely is very quiet, reserved, keeps to himself apparently backstage. And this has gained him a bit of a reputation for maybe being standoffish or non-approachable or something to that effect. And look, that's, it's stuff that I've done in the workplace before. I've worked places where sometimes you just you're not that outgoing and friendly. You just kind of want to keep to yourself. And then people look at you like, oh, who's this fucking dickhead that doesn't want to talk to anybody? Or, because you never know what's going on inside with people. You never really know. So try not to look at people. And this is one of the things that he was trying to pitch. He's like, I want to, my peers in the AEW locker room to know that, like, if I'm quiet or I'm not talkative, or if I'm over here by myself and not with you guys over there, it's not that I don't like you or that I'm a dick, or, it's just I'm dealing with some shit, or I'm in my own head, or I'm just trying to not have so much anxiety, like it's a lot of shit that we're all going through, and it's, there's other people too, like Hangman Page, very open about this stuff, his anxiety and that kind of thing. Definitely something that people are talking about more, and I love to see that. But this was a very deep interview with Stokely. It was not a get-to-know, fun, happy. There were some funner, upbeat parts of this, but this was really like a mental health episode, and it got deep, and it got dark, and it got hard to listen to at times. I shouldn't say it like that. It wasn't so dark or anything like that. But, I mean, you got to, be sure if you're going to listen to this that, it might kill your mood. So if you're feeling a little down and you want to kind of see how other people that you see on TV and that you look up to and that you're fans of be able to relate, this is definitely something, if you feel like you can relate, that I absolutely think you should seek out and listen to, because there's a lot of good takeaways from that. But, just be prepared, because if you're in a great mood and you're all like, it's gonna bum you out a little bit. It's a little bit of a downer, but important. It's important to get this stuff out there and to have these conversations and to make them commonplace. Like, we just lost the green Power Ranger, right? Or the white Power Ranger, if you will. Don't you goddamn dare say the red Power Ranger, because nothing after those first 2 seasons ever existed. So you just shut your mouth. But, these things are serious, and we need to take them seriously. And I'm not going to keep going with this because I don't want to be the Debbie Downer and just kill you guys either. We'll take it back up after this, but I wanted to make awareness for this because it's an important topic, and it's good that Stokely got to air it out there and got to show a little bit more of his side, his personality, and what he's going through, and hopefully that helps other people as well. Hey, thanks for checking out that clip. Don't forget to check out other clips here on the channel. And while you're there, throw a like, throw a subscribe. And don't forget to check out full episodes each and every Sunday of the Pro Wrestling Podcast.